Hallows Eve, a place for spooks, scares. Guys, we practiced this in rehearsal time. Let's go up further, please. All Hallows Eve. Hey! Get me up! Now! Wait until I can safely step out, please! All Hallows Eve, the place for spooks and scares, but not necessarily sports. But today, we change. Darn it. All Hallows Eve, the place for spooks and scares, but not necessarily sports. But today, that all changes. Wait with me as I regale you the tale of the murder in Brooklyn. So, in order to properly show you, let me shed some technicolor light on the subject. It was the summer of 2010, and New Jersey was down on its luck. He couldn't get by in the world. He made his appearances in the big dance, but never could win in life. But the move to Brooklyn wasn't without its faults. A man called the Mad Russian facilitated the move that nobody really needed. The only players they really had were these men. A man that the Nets traded for a first-round pick in Gerald Wallace, Devin Harris, Brooke Lopez, Courtney Lee, and Kardashian. Hold on. There we go. But they don't want Courtney Lee. So, he ships Courtney Lee away. For Lee, they get Troy Murphy in return, in the middle of a 4-team deal that involved Trevor Ariza and Darren Collison. Our first big visit. Troy Murphy is, shocker, an unknown to the team, so he gets shipped to Golden State. But this isn't enough. We need a point guard. Devin Harris. Who's that? It's not like he'd be a decent bench player for a decade and probably deserved a starting spot somewhere. Right. But here comes the downfall. The first key in the cog. The first wrench in the machine. Darren Williams. The Nets trade for Darren Williams by sending Utah Devin Harris, the number 3 overall pick, and another first-round pick. Now we need a shooting guard. We'll take Joe Johnson off your hands, Atlanta, and we'll give you our entire bench. After 3 years of trying to make the playoffs, Darren Williams and ISO Joe weren't enough. The Nets need. The Nets receive 35-year-old stalwarts of the Celtics championship teams of 2008. All of them 35. All of them much past their prime. But it doesn't matter. They have championship mentality. The Nets give the Celtics Gerald Wallace, Chris Humphries, finally, Keith Bogans, Marshawn Brooks, Chris Joseph, 3 first-round picks, and a pick swap. It's happening. The Nets are going to do it. They're going to make the playoffs. But not their first year. Their first year they realize they should move Jason Terry because he regresses more than the rest. They ship him off to Sacramento. 2014 begins the long, slow death of the franchise. Lose to the Heat in the playoffs. Paul Pierce goes to Washington. Jason Kidd to Milwaukee. And Darren Williams is missing in action. Garnett can't take the pain anymore and leaves to go back to Minnesota. Joe Johnson and Darren Williams were too much money, and bought out of their contracts. But they didn't murder the Nets either. Did Brook Lopez do it? Did Jeremy Lin do it after his prime in New York and Houston? Did Bojan Bogdanovic do it? No, probably wasn't him. He got moved to Washington with Paul Pierce. So, who did it? None of their draft picks did it, because none of their draft picks from 2014 to 2018 were theirs. They were the Celtics picks. Wait. In all these seasons, the Celtics mostly still had their own picks. What did they do with them? Oh no. Boston used one of their picks they got from the Nets to get Isaiah Thomas. Another pick was used to send Isaiah Thomas, Jay Crowder, and Ante Zizic to Cleveland for Kyrie Irving. But he didn't do the deed. What happened to the picks they used in the Gerald Wallace and Darren Williams trade? The ones that brought them to Brooklyn. Oh my. It all makes sense. It's all working itself out. No, that can't be true. That was just a second-round pick. Wait a minute. It was you. The whole time it was you. The man who killed Prime Allen Iverson. You killed the Brooklyn Nets. How could you?
And sitting in the back and just talking to them, what they bring is not just basketball. They'll bring knowledge, they'll bring experience. Got pieces now that we can compete for a championship, and that's our goal.
Till next time, have a happy Halloween from Eject. Click the subscribe button if you dare.